So I say this planet, the Meteor Rainforest planet, it should be called Pern.
Pern. Because it rhymes with fern?
Sure, no.
Hello. This is the 263rd Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2226, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past on podcast. And we're not just in the 23rd century. We're not just on Earth in the 23rd century. We're far away in space.
Super far away.
Yes.
Thousands of light years away. I didn't mention that last week, but I think we mentioned it 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago when we said, we're so far away that if we can't work out how to get home, it's going to take us thousands of years.
Yes. So, long time.
Long time, long distance.
Yeah. So for our first-time listeners, we and Simon are in the 23rd century. We won a space tour, which was only supposed to last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're now
4 weeks in, I think. 5 weeks.
4, 5. And there's no sign that we're going to be back home anytime soon. We're still recording our weekly podcast. Normally we're talking about more day-to-day stuff in the 23rd century. Now we're talking about day-to-day stuff in the 23rd century in space.
Yeah, which also I can imagine is interesting for our listeners.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, my days at the moment are still definitely, maybe not more interesting, but less standard than...
More variety.
Yes.
I mean, for all of us, going to different planets every few days and so on.
Yeah, if you stand on your balcony on Earth and you look at the sky, you see blackness and little dots, you think, how exciting can this be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks all the same, but it's not.
No. So a whole bunch of stuff going on out here. So there's that aspect to it. And sure, for myself, I've got that, plus I'm now a member of the Passenger Council.
Yes.
I've got all this other excitement in my life to do with that.
True. You have any news on the council?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've had a couple of meetings already now since last week when I found out. I happen to know, of the 15 of us on the council, I already knew 2 of the other members.
Okay.
So I'm getting to know the others, of course, but Alice.
Alice is in it?
Yeah, we spoke about her before.
Yeah.
So she's a member. So she's a spacecraft designer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a
old friend of yours, yeah?
Exactly, from a long time ago.
Yeah. So she is one of the members. And then another one, I don't know him. Well, I guess, so you don't know him as well as you know Alice. Anyway, Riff. You don't remember Riff? We met him at the space bath the other week.
With the white hair?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We met him at the space bath. I realised for our listeners, bath in some parts of the world means like a bathtub, but in other parts of the world it's like a sauna. We mean the sauna kind.
Yes.
With the cosmic rays,
Exactly, but then with the cosmic rays, not with the whatever is in a normal sauna.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Riff and Alice, and sure, I'm getting to know the other folk.
Okay, I guess Alice being a spacecraft designer makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Riff's background?
I haven't actually got around to asking him yet. I'll make sure to do that.
Okay. He looks old.
I was going to say he's retired, but I know he's retired, but I haven't actually gone in asked him. So what did you do for your life before now?
But
we're focused on council business,
Yeah, that's true enough. Yeah, but I mean, being old, he probably knows a bunch of stuff.
Presumably.
Yeah, and it's good to have people in the council that know a bunch of stuff, like yourself.
I know all about making podcasts.
There you go. Okay, cool. So, any big decisions you needed to make, or any specific?
No. And I think this is what you told me about working on councils. There's so much discussions of things, and basically we've been just working out the framework for deciding things.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing so far.
The process, the responsibilities, the order of things. And
actually, to the point, Riff seemed to have a lot of experience. Like he was speaking pretty knowledgeably about that kind of stuff. So maybe he has a background in that.
See, maybe he has council experience. That's pretty cool. Sure. Keep us up to date. Looking at how we're progressing, we might just be in space for a while.
Right. I might actually get to sink my teeth into this. Maybe we actually, once we've worked out how to do things, maybe we actually do some things.
Cool. Let me know when you get to the bit where it's cutting a ribbon.
Yeah.
If that ever...
Wow, getting to cut a space ribbon in space. That'd be some good stuff.
maybe we get to open a planet. Or you then?
Yeah, cool. Or myself or one of my other council members.
Cool. I'm going to be there. Talking about planets. So at the moment,
as we're recording?
Exactly. We're kind of nowhere. We're
on our way somewhere.
Yes.
From one place to another.
Exactly. And a nice thing to say is like we're in between solar systems.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we're basically on our way from one solar system to another. So we've all recharged every possible battery that we have on our way to our next system to recharge again there.
Yeah.
But on our way out, we passed how many planets?
6.
6
in total. Like meaning since last week we have passed 6 planets.
Yeah, they were nicely lined up.
Yeah, that was pretty handy.
Remember, living on Earth, it was often a big deal. Hey, some of the planets are lining up. You can see them. And in this case, they were nicely lined up for us to basically pass by them.
Yeah, we had good timing for that.
That was pretty cool. I wonder how often. Or maybe they're always lined up.
Maybe in that solar system, exactly. Maybe they're synchronized.
True, actually. And, if anybody would be living there, we're like, yeah, they'll line up all the time.
Maybe it's more fancy for them. Maybe, if it never gets out of sync, it wouldn't matter. Maybe just the idea of a solar system where the planets aren't synchronized like that would be very exciting.
They're going to be thinking we're making that up.
Yeah.
In our solar system, yeah, right. Yeah. So there were like, I think some were more exciting than others. And instead of just going through all 6, we just said, let's each pick one.
Yeah.
Describe it. And we don't know which one the other picked. So maybe it's the same one.
Yeah.
And
there's a chance.
We thought for the fun of it, the other person gets to name the planet of the first person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall I go first?
Yes.
Which one is? So you know them, of course. Our listeners don't. So I'll just describe it as well, that our listeners even know what I'm talking about. So it was a planet which was completely covered in slippery ice.
I didn't pick that one.
Yeah,
cool.
Not the kind of ice which is like rough, but the really slippery kind. Almost as if it was made of vodka. Not the whole planet, but like covered the ice. I mean, that the ice was made of vodka because it was frozen, it was solid, but there was this slipperiness to it, which was perfect for ice skating.
It did smell a little bit like vodka as well.
Yeah.
That was nice, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was perfect for ice skating.
Yeah, didn't even need to use sandpaper.
Exactly. The fun thing is every passenger brought ice skates and sandpaper.
Right, exactly, in case we came to a place where there was ice, but it's rough and you need to, smooth it down. Perfectly smooth.
It was pretty cool because we all got down to the surface with the sandpaper and you could see people kind of like throwing the sandpaper in the air like, we don't need this, kind of like celebratory.
Yeah. And then ducking out the way that it didn't scrape them on the way down.
It's true. I actually almost fell over one.
Sure.
Because
exactly. Everyone threw in the air in excitement. Okay, then everyone needed to pick them up. You can't litter. It's a bit rude to litter a whole new planet.
that would be a typical human thing to do.
A typical rude human thing to do. We're all pretty polite humans.
I know, but it's like, not typical, so maybe stereotypical. I don't know. It's like you're somewhere where you've never been before, where never a human has set foot, and the first thing you do is litter.
Right. Dump all the sandpaper that you don't need.
It's like make your mark. It's like some future
folk get there and go, why? Who even brought sandpaper here? You don't need that. It's all slippery.
Exactly. It's an alien race. I wonder who visited this planet before, and then you see all the trash.
Assuming that by that point humans have a reputation for that kind of thing.
Yes.
Having cleaned up their act.
Must be humans. And we picked it up. There was a nice few hours of ice skating.
Yeah.
I also remember when the first gong went, going like, hey, everybody back to the ship. There were quite a few people who were like, I didn't hear that, I think.
No, skate a little longer.
Yeah. But the smell was really nice.
Yeah, it was pleasant. It wasn't the kind, I think because no one had too much to drink, so it was a nice smell to it. After a few too many, maybe that smell makes you feel a bit uneasy, but it worked out.
Did you try to drink it?
No, that was fine. Yourself? It is space vodka, not necessarily healthy for humans to drink.
I didn't drink it, but I took some. Because
of course,
we're all
to try later.
Yeah, exactly, because we're all being a little bit adventurous, let's try new things out and so on. But after the experience with the planet that that's the one that I picked. So we'll
Okay,
get to
we'll
that.
get to it in a sec.
We're being a little bit more careful about. This is all going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I took it just in case I feel brave enough to try it.
Well, and if there's something to celebrate, something to toast.
True, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so did you want to say a name?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to name this? Because before you say, that very first, so the planet we talked about last week, the name of which has completely gone out of my mind, but it had a signpost.
Crumble.
Planet Crumble had a signpost. But none of the subsequent planets we've seen have had signposts.
Yeah.
So we get to name them.
Exactly.
Whether the name will stick, who knows?
And also not like you and me personally, just like basically us, all 2,300 people on the ship. But I guess that will go through the passenger council or whatever.
Yeah,
but
right, which I do have a hand in.
True, actually. But anyway, we'll just name them for the fun of it.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't just keep calling that planet with whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to call the planet Pants on Ice.
Okay, I mean, there was definitely ice involved, but why pants?
Yeah, that's one reason, because there's ice in the name and in the planet. Second reason is because it rhymes with lice. So you can say lice, pants on ice.
You could say that, yeah. But lice like the little insects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lice, pants on ice.
I mean, hey, you're the one choosing the name?
And,
okay, so pants on ice.
Yes, pants on ice. And the third reason is, of course, after the famous vodka brand on Earth that has the same name.
Of course, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I thought if I name it after a brand, I can come back to Earth and get some sponsor money.
Yeah, right. Good thinking.
Yeah. Shall I mention mine?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the planet that I picked, there was, I think, the first or the second one that we visited was the Meteor Rainforest planet. So for the listeners, the planet was completely covered in, I'm saying
like tropical rainforest.
Forest, exactly. It came close to what on Earth we know as a tropical rainforest. There were plant-like things, so there weren't like trees, but just really, really big plants everywhere. And really big, really tall. So typical thing, if you're on the surface, it's pretty dark. It was also pretty damp, but not wet. Not like rainforest, but like a very
like a mist forest.
Yeah, exactly. So, and meteors. The planet had an atmosphere where most of the meteors came through, and there were many of them.
Right, like constantly.
Yeah, constantly. And at any given time, you could see these streaks of meteors passing by, basically. So they were
more visible at night, but
exactly. Yeah. And with some of them at day, and they would regularly crash, and you would often hear them.
Yeah.
So this was slightly dangerous. Luckily, we had like
space umbrellas.
Space umbrellas and also like predictive technology, so we knew where it was going to be safe, because of course they're following a specific path. So we knew where it was safe to land, but still it had this kind of uneasy atmosphere that visit.
Yeah, it was not so calm.
No, exactly, because we were all a little bit like, is everything going to work out?
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. Typical rainforest on Earth. It was green. This one was, I think, blue was the dominating color.
Yeah, like a turquoise. But closer to blue, but a little bit turquoise.
Yeah, exactly. And then with lots of accents that were kind of like yellowish. So not flowers, but kind of like leafy things that I guess could pass for flowers. Anyway, pretty. And they had vines and so on. So that was quite cool. Fun thing. Space locust, do you remember?
I didn't, to be honest. But okay, after we talked about it, then I remembered, they were from, we talked about them long ago, clearing up all the space junk that was around Earth.
Initially, yeah. And then at one point, most of the space debris was cleaned up, and then they kind of flew off into space. And quite a lot of them were here.
Right. Which is very interesting.
Yes.
How did they get here from Earth? Seems like that could be helpful for us to get back to Earth. They cannot talk, so unfortunately we don't know.
No, exactly. They are not sentient. And interesting enough, of course, like they can't fly that fast.
No.
So, and this must have been happening the last couple of decades. So if they can get here, then we could do the opposite. Of course, we don't really know how they got here.
That's the issue. Like, the ship can go much faster than they can, but we don't know where to go.
And were they maybe transported to this part of the galaxy? Did they maybe hitch a ride on like an alien spaceship and then took it from there or whatever? So we can't really tell, but it was, I would say it was still positive. Yeah. Because it was something that we know from back home.
Exactly. There was some nice familiarity there.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the smell of vodka from Pants on Ice.
That's true, actually, yeah.
But that was like a coincidence where these are actually something from Earth.
I'm thinking now, are we taking souvenirs? I mean, not everybody, but is the ship taking something?
Not supposed to, but I think, the crew are definitely collecting, like they have scientists.
Okay. Okay, we're not supposed to.
There's not just cooks,
That's true, actually. I know we're not supposed to, but...
we're not supposed to. I mean, you took that little bit to drink, that's fair.
Yeah, I also took a bit of the surface from Planet Crumble.
Okay.
But it's gone.
Oh.
it disappears.
I see.
The moment you hold it, it disappears.
Indeed. I guess on the surface of the planet, so I guess it must have reappeared back on the planet.
I think so, yeah.
Which has all kinds of implications, but oh well. Like, meaning if you take a piece of that Planet Crumble elsewhere in the universe, touch it, and it reappears back on Planet Crumble, if that's what's going on.
True, but it started already, like, even without me touching it, it started already shrinking because I had it in a jar. I guess I was touching the jar.
Touching the jar, yeah.
But yeah, still, you have a fair point. Yeah, that's scientifically interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now thinking. Now I feel like I want to take something from every planet, but
to see what happens. I mean, we don't have that huge a cabin. It would depend how many places we visit.
True, actually.
How long we're out here. Because you can always drink and eat some of the things as we go.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I mean, but that's also. I remember when we came back from the Rainforest Meteor planet
which I should give a name.
Exactly, that will have a proper name soonish.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bit of a negative aftermath because quite a few of the passengers then had kind of like...
I'm just going to put the word space on everything. Space hay fever. Just call it space fever.
After space pollen.
Exactly, because those meteorites that were falling through the atmosphere, when they did, they melted.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they were ice up in space, but coming through the atmosphere, they melted. And what came out? Space pollen.
Yeah.
Milky pollen, actually. So milky space pollen.
I'm going to assume this was useful for the planet. Maybe that's where all the plants came from.
Yeah, could be. But our cyborg chips obviously didn't know about it yet. It took a little while for them to develop, some countermeasures, and so for a while there, a whole lot of people, myself included, had sneezing, a whole lot of snot running.
Yeah, exactly. I think in a few hours even, no?
Yeah.
Humans then. The robots were going like...
Sure, yeah. And I mean, I enjoy sneezing, so it wasn't such a hardship, but at some point you can't do anything else because you're sneezing so much. I was glad for it to be taken care of.
True, yeah. I guess that's also... you spent quite some time in the baths, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and I like sneezing in the bath, but not other people about me. They don't appreciate it. So. But hey, everyone was doing it. So
exactly. I think most of the people with space hay fever went to the baths. Yeah. Anyway, so after that, we were a little bit more careful when visiting new planets.
And that's why you didn't just drink the vodka up off the ground.
See, the storyline. Wow.
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning.
I guess if we'd thought that through, we could have talked about this one first, and then anyway.
But this is a nice, different way of storytelling.
Sure. Can I name it? Or is there more to say?
Oh, yeah, I want to know the name.
Okay. This will make total sense if you've read this series of books. So, I say this planet, the Meteor Rainforest planet, it should be called Pern.
Because it rhymes with fern?
Sure, no. I mean, yes, it does. And there were some trees that kind of looked almost like ferns.
So you can say fern pans on burn.
You can say that. I'm naming it after this series of books which had a similar thing with meteorites coming through the atmosphere, melting, and stuff coming out that caused problems.
Whoa.
I know, right?
So
no, not hay fever. That was a whole other kind of problem. But still, the name of the place was Pern. Let's call this place Pern.
So this place was already discovered once?
No, that was fiction from over 200 years ago.
Yeah,
I read it more recently, but those books were first written long ago.
Maybe we're thinking it was fiction, but because we've now visited this place,
hey, we're sending stuff back in time. But our podcast goes back after those books were published.
No, I'm saying maybe the person writing the books actually knew about this place. Yeah, maybe Anne knew about this place somehow.
No, it's not impossible, but if she did, she changed the details. There wasn't hay fever involved.
Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe she changed the details. Maybe it's like a license thing, She changed the details so it wasn't the exact original.
Could be.
Okay.
So, Pants on Ice and Pern.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
And they both start with P.
I just noticed that.
All right, so we also have a listener email.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Yes.
And I think we've said already, but just we're both very glad that our episodes that we are recording here out in space, we're sending them back. People on Earth are listening to them and replying to them.
That's nice, yeah. Gives us some things to read in between planets.
Indeed. Like right now. Shall I read the email?
Yeah.
So, Fantastic Mr. Grapefruit, that's the person who wrote. That sounds like a pseudonym. Anyway, Fantastic Mr. Grapefruit wrote, "Hey guys, I hope you're still in space, otherwise my email doesn't make any sense. I was wondering if you met any more interesting people. Bye-bye." He said bye-bye like how I say bye-bye. Yes, we have.
Yeah, we did.
It would be pretty strange if we hadn't, yeah?
Yeah, and...
Me on the council, but also just, going down to planets, checking stuff out.
I mean, we definitely met quite a lot of people, and a lot of them were interesting. The person that I wanted to point out, can I go first?
Sure, please do.
Guinevere, she plays in the passenger band. She plays the bass. That's the long woman with the long white hair.
Yep,
that's Genevieve. So I spoke to her because they were basically playing or practicing in the ballroom. You had a passenger council meeting,
right?
So I was just strolling through the ship, and then they were basically jamming. So like just cool, because it's not just the passenger council that was fun. There's all kinds of like let's say grassroots initiatives.
Yeah, right. I mean, the council was from the captain, but there's other stuff going on where the passengers, like we ourselves, are coming up with ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And they said, "Hey, are there any other people with that brought instruments?" She's even trying to convince me to join the band.
Ooh, well, what instrument?
Woodblock.
Do you know how to play the woodblock?
No.
But you're interested in learning?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't bring any, but she brought
I was going to say
several. Even.
Okay, that works.
And apparently it's not so hard. So
I mean, if I remember right from school, it's been a while, but I remember in school we used to play music. And I remember woodblock, it was a block of wood. And you hit it with a stick, but it was like it was hollow in some way. Yeah, it wasn't, and so it had a sound to it.
Apparently, yeah. She explained it to me. I mean, I was basically they were jamming, and she was at the moment not playing, so I was just looking at it, and then we started talking, and then, hey, do you play an instrument? No. Do you want to join the band anyway? What? And then she said she had some.
I mean, that's how you can learn an instrument.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, we're going to be here for a while, I guess. So why not? So considering it. Yeah, you know how to play the woodblock?
Like I say, back in school, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I was an expert at it, but...
You can give me a few tips.
Yeah. I can do. It'll be easier when you actually have it in front of you.
Cool. So, see, I can give you council tips. You give me woodblock tips. It's cool.
It's good stuff.
You met any interesting people?
Yeah, I met the captain at last.
The captain?
Actually met the captain.
Of all 2,300 people?
Yeah, of the ship, yeah.
Wow.
That was pretty good. And it was very good because also I got to ask why I was selected for the passenger council. And the captain told me.
Oh.
So it's not a mystery, I don't have to string this out for many weeks or any jibber-jabber like that. So I had speculated last week, hey, we've got a podcast. Maybe I'm famous. Maybe that's why. And kind of, not because we're famous, but because the captain had heard from other passengers, obviously the last few weeks I've been telling everyone about our show. No one can listen to it, of course, because, they have no way to get the episodes. But anyway, I've been telling people about it. Word got back to the captain. Captain understood that we have a way of sending messages back in time, and not just back in time, but to Earth.
Wow.
And so, is interested in possibly making use of that to get messages back to Earth. And I mentioned, like our listeners know, we send the podcast back in time. Our listeners can write to us. So potentially, if the captain or the crew, if they have questions they need answers to, sure, we could include them in an episode. it's a bit tricky because our listeners, they're 200 years in the past, so they won't be able to give up-to-date information, for example, about what's going on like in our time. But maybe there's some historical information that's useful.
True, yeah. The captain understands that our listeners will only hear about this after we recorded the episode, right? So
I did explain how it all worked.
Okay.
I hope the captain understood me.
I mean, half the time I don't even understand it.
It's tricky.
Okay, but it's actually pretty cool. You met the captain.
Yep.
Cool. Potentially the most interesting person on the ship.
Most senior, anyway.
Most famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, so thank you, fantastic Mr. Grapefruit, for this question.
Indeed, thank you, Mr. Grapefruit. Listeners to Test from the Future, please do write even more to us, of course, by sending an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com with the episode number 263 in the subject line so that we can know this episode successfully went back in time.
And for now, thanks for listening and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.